Hey guys, it's Taylor, and today I'm going to be filming tips and tricks to passing your driving test. Today I decided to actually film outside for once, so I really hope the background noises of birds and winds and stuff like that doesn't bother you. I thought it'd be something different, but yeah, let's get started with the video. I'm written down on this little pad here, this as an example throughout the video, so if you hear me like flipping paper, that might be it. But there's somebody driving a freaking boat. Okay. Give me a minute. I'll get started in a minute. The littlest things are what add up to make what people fail. I would say definitely try to avoid any of those little small things, such as rolling past the stop sign, not checking your mirrors or checking your blind spots, things like speeding, and not smoothly changing lanes and like turning. A lot of people don't think that actually does anything, but the littlest things they take off for. So you definitely want to try to avoid anything that could possibly make you fail. But that definitely does bring me to the next tip that I'm going to be talking about. The next tip I have for you is definitely during turning. You probably don't believe it, more so left than right, because right turns, you actually, on a one-way highway, you're actually turning into the same lane you're already on, if that makes any sense. Where on a left turn, you're actually having to cross another lane of traffic in order to get onto the road. So I definitely would say to make sure that you practice in order to make left turns. People are probably gonna honk at you if you're in the long lane. But if you do end up making a mistake on your driving test, don't you worry. Do whatever you have to do to fix your mistake as quick as possible, and it will all even out in the end. Another tip is definitely, like in one of my other tips, you want to do everything smoothly, because the more that you show that you are in control of the car, the more they're going to see that, hey, this person actually knows how to drive. Because if you are like switching lanes dramatically and just like swerving into the other lane, it's not smoothly coming to a full stop at stop signs, and you just slam on brakes, and if the man slams his head on the window, you know that you're probably doing something wrong. So I would suggest don't make the man slam his head on the window shield. Obviously they're gonna deduct something, like they're gonna be scared. You're gonna make them freaking scared, so they're not gonna want to ride with you. So smoothly, everything smoothly is key. Number 3, the most determining factor is be prepared. Especially for environmental changes, because you don't know what the environment's going to be doing while taking your test. You might want to do things like check the weather for the day and see what kind of things the weather may bring. Be prepared for driving in different conditions such as rain, sleet, snow. You definitely want to be prepared to drive in whatever situation you're in, because yeah, that would be very bad if you went to a road test in snow and you didn't know how to drive. So I don't know where you live, but just make sure you know how to drive in every single condition. Number 4, I would say practice. Practice makes perfect. Guys, I'm telling you, the more you practice, the more you're going to feel in more control of the car. You're not going to be scared as much as you would without having so much experience, because the more experience you have driving, the more kind of laid back you are. For instance, if you just got in the car for like your 4th time to go take a driving test, you're probably not going to pass. I mean, there's a slim chance you probably would pass, but I mean, you just want to be very confident. Like, you know what I mean? You need to practice in order to be confident with your driving, because the more confidence you have, the less scared and like timid you're going to be with the person in the car. You just have to be confident with what you're doing and go for it, basically. Tip number 5, I would definitely say to know your car. Know everything about your car. Know from where your blinkers are, your hazard lights. You need to know like what the gear shifts mean, like the park, reverse, neutral, drive, sports mode maybe. Because especially when they go to evaluate you, because when you first take your driving test, most likely they're going to ask you to show them they're going to be on that side of the car, and they're going to evaluate you and ask you where the left blinker is, the right blinker is, turn on your hazards, turn on your windshield wipers. They're going to ask for turn your stereo off where you don't have any music going, and turn your air conditioner on. So on or off. Like, they're not going to tell you to turn your air conditioner on and off. I'm just giving you examples of things they might ask, so you definitely want to know what they're asking when they say it, because if they ask you to do something and you tell them you don't know where it is, or give me a minute or something, they're going to probably look at you like, do you need a license? Like, I don't know if you can drive. Like, you don't even know your car. So basically, yeah, you definitely need to know your car. Number 6, signals. Signals are key. If you don't use signals while parallel parking, yes, you will get a lot deducted. No matter if you're taking a test in the middle of nowhere, if you're on a highway, if you're not on a major highway, if you're on some country road, some city road, in the middle of the desert maybe, you need to use your signals because, I don't know, it's a law. To make sure you're signaling when you parallel park, even if you're making a turn, whether it's left or right, you need to signal when you're parking just in general. So yeah, just make sure you're signaling and everything that you're supposed to signal before. On to number 7. Number 7, I would definitely say, is going to be very odd or very different, but it's something you need to remember. Your shoes and clothing. Now, I can't stress this enough because I don't want anybody coming back to my video and commenting, oh, I failed my driving test because nobody mentioned that I wasn't supposed to wear so-and-so. If you didn't know, you're actually not supposed to wear any type of open-toed shoe. Now, some instructors aren't as strict as others. For instance, some people might have a feet fetish or whatever you want to call it. But majority of the time, they're going to check that you have on the right clothing, especially your shoes. So if you're wearing any type of open-toed shoes, such as sandals, flip-flops especially, no, what are they called, chacos? So pick some shoes that you're confident in driving in, because if you pick some like fancy little wedges and you're like, oh, I'm going to be so cute for my driving test, you're going to get in the car and you're going to be like, holy crap, this is the most uncomfortable thing. Because if you start to take off your shoes, they're going to deduct points. At least they would where I live. They will deduct points when you start to like take your foot, like, hold on a minute, let me take off my shoe. No, just no. So, and as far as clothing, I would say don't wear anything very, very baggy, like that's going to cover up your arms. Don't wear any of those like cardigans that like have the little frill down them. Just like really outrageous clothing, or like hoops. Anything that's going to prevent you from your driving, just don't wear it. You try not to do anything like drastic. It's going to like enable you from doing things because they will deduct points. So yeah. Tip number 8, I can't stress this enough. The number one thing to helping you pass your driving test is to be confident. Be confident with everything that you're doing in the car. The more confident you are as a person, the easier it is going to be to let somebody else ride with you. Act like you know it. Strut it. Just be like, I know what I'm doing and I don't know you're there. Just ignore them. Pretend like their existence isn't even alive. Just pretend like nobody is judging what you're doing. Pretend like you're like just there by yourself, just chilling, taking a little stroll downtown, and you're instructing somebody else to do it. Pretend like you're the instructor. You'll do better. That's just it. Confidence is key. Tip number 9 would to be alert or be aware. I'll keep it as be aware, because the more aware you are of everything around you, it like better it's going to be to take the test. Hey bird, how's it going? Hey Jeffrey. Alright, there are going to be some conditions, and it's kind of like seeing how you would react in a certain situation. The instructor might tell you, hey look, somebody's crossing the road, or hey look, there's a guy dead on the side of the road. Maybe not that, but they're going to try to throw something at you. Not always, but just be aware of your surroundings and try not to let them distract you from what you're doing. So like pay attention to the road, basically is what I'm trying to say. Be aware of what's in front of you. Don't be aware. Yeah. The last tip that I have for you on kind of basics in order of taking your test, study your rules, study your laws, know what you're doing, basically. Just practice makes perfect. So the more you study it and you know it, that hey, I'm supposed to stop at a stop sign, yellow means yield, that sign means there's a tractor, there might be tractors on the road, knowing that hey look, there's a kangaroo crossing the road. Yeah, maybe not in America, but in Australia there will be one of those signs. Just stuff like that. Just know what your signs mean. And basically everything that you studied for taking your permit test, everything that you kind of studied on there, just kind of review that and kind of like take that into your knowledge and let it sink in your brain, like the 5 steps of like parallel parking. Probably the best way to study for your test is to look up whatever state you're in. For me it'd be Georgia, right? Georgia driver's education practice tests. And there should be around 2 or 3 that pop up. on your Google, and those are like the top 3 that you should go to study, because I think that the actual driver's education provides at least 2 different tests for you to take. That way you're very prepared. But it's really, really helpful for you to go and study that in order for taking your actual driving test. Honestly, I can fly. For today, for the end of this video, I want you to remember 5 things I want you to remember inside of your beautiful little brains before you take your driving test. In the back of your head, I want you to remember these 5 things. I want you to remember to be safe, be aware, be confident, practice before going, and number 5, know what you're doing. Basically, those 5 tips are what I use to help me pass my driving test, because I just remember sitting down before taking my test and pep talking to myself. I kept saying that, okay, we're gonna do it. She's not gonna be in the car with me, that we can do it. I know what I'm doing. Pretend the lady's not even there, and you will do fabulous. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. Know what you're doing. If you make a mistake, just fix it. Don't think it's the end of the world because you failed it. You can always take it again. So yeah, just kind of try to inhale all of these tips and make you better with your driving. Other than that, if any of these tips helped you, or if you think these will help you for your future driving test, give this video a thumbs up, letting me know that you enjoyed. Most of my social medias will be linked on the screen, such as my Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, that kind of thing, as well as linked in the description if you want to get to know me a lot better than what you know me already. Just kind of stalk me in my personal life. Those will be linked on the screen right there. But yeah, I guess that will conclude the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. I'll leave some video suggestions kind of like this down below, and I will try to get to them. But other than that, I guess I will see you in my next video. Once again, toodles.